Well, good morning. I've been testing out the Campark T300 trail camera for the last several weeks, having a lot of fun with it. The T300 has got an integrated solar panel here, and it's very similar really in the design and layout to the recent Campark T180 that I tested, except the T180 is more expensive and it has side sensors on it, and this one just has a central sensor. But overall, I haven't really noticed a big difference in the triggering response or the triggering speed. It's a well-built camera, just like the T180. Nice thing about it is it's compact and the solar is integrated. Has the tripod mount on the back, which just means you rotate your tripod head 90 degrees. And it has a solid mounting system for a tree, room for a cable lock or a small padlock on here. It's got 36 850 nanometer IR lights, and it really has good nighttime performance. I'll show you a lot of examples, of course, as I always do. If you open it up, it's real compact inside, really just almost identical to the T180, only about $20 or $30 cheaper, and the image system seems pretty close. Triggering is also pretty close. But it doesn't have a few of the bells and whistles, mostly the side triggers. It only requires 4 AA batteries, and really in this system, this is designed to be your primary power system, and then the 4 batteries are your battery backup. So you always want to keep 4 fresh batteries in there, even though you're going to rely primarily on solar. And you really do save a lot of batteries with time. I mean, batteries are not cheap, even the ones at Amazon when you buy it at 48 or 100 packs. And I've really just got out of the habit of buying a lot of batteries and depending more and more on solar. Either trail cameras with integrated solar, like this TC07, T180, and this T300, all from Campark that I've tested out. Really been impressed with the solar power system. The 3 modes are a live mode, in which case you can take a video or a picture in live mode. Here is an example of a landscape picture I took using the T300 like a camera in the backyard under really harsh lighting conditions, and the results were pretty good. Image review mode, I have about 119 images on here, and you can go through them such as that, but I'm going to go over that in more detail. And then the actual menu itself, where you put all the settings in here. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on the menu settings on the camera because I'm going to do that on the smartphone and show you how the app works. You know, one of the strong points of these cameras and almost all the recent cameras that I've tested from Campark are that they're Wi-Fi and Bluetooth enabled. So you leave the Bluetooth on all the time on the camera setup, and then when you go into your phone app, the Bluetooth turns on the Wi-Fi in the camera, and then you can use it to look at your media, you know, download if you want to, or delete if you want to, and also change the settings. And so I'll spend most of my time on this review going through the phone setting, because that's the way most people are going to interact with this camera, is by their smartphone. That's the whole beauty of it. It has really good night vision. I was impressed with it. Here is an example of the T300 switching from color as it turns dark into IR mode. I was impressed with the clarity of the IR videos and the automatic setting. The trail cameras come with different bit rates, and the bit rate of the video really has a lot to do with how the quality of the video is going to look like when you process it. Now, if you're just going to look at it, you know, for yourself and for your own enjoyment, that's fine. If you're going to try and make actual videos of it like I do on the YouTube or something like that, you want as high a bit rate as possible. So what I found out is that the 2K video on here really had the highest bit rate and had really clear results. You know, the 4K video, the higher the bit rate, of course, the bigger the file. So a lot of times it's a trade-off between file size and quality. So I find the 2K 30 frames per second video on this to be the sweet spot. So just to summarize my impressions of the T300 trail camera from Campark, it's a very nice package, again, well built, very similar to the T180. Solid camera, works well, triggers really well in night and daytime, even without the side sensors. I found in my case that the trigger speed and the sensitivity was really quite good. The T300 routinely triggered on small birds and small mammals like this rat, The lack of side sensors means you might lose a second or two on an animal moving into range across the camera. And really quite happy with the camera. Now, you know, some of the cameras I use, like the TC06, which is really exceptional for close-up work of, say, taking really close-up pictures of birds within a foot or two. This is not that good of a camera for that kind of close-up. It takes decent pictures of birds really close-up. But this is really a good, you know, intelligence and surveillance and, you know, wildlife observation camera. And it has really good night adaptability so that it doesn't overexpose the images at night. This cat has a clipped ear and has been previously trapped, neutered, and released. Unfortunately, he's my problem now. Notice how well the T300 handles this close-up. But a whitish possum this close would tend to be overexposed by the IR lights. But as far as an all-around high-quality trail camera, you can't go wrong with the T300 with the integrated solar, cuts down on the batteries, and it's just real easy to use on your phone. The T300 comes with the usual accessories, the mounting brackets, and a mounting strap for a tree. And the other thing about the solar-powered camera is when you first get it, you can completely charge the solar power system through the USB cable here, which will charge up the solar power to 100%. And then if it's in a nice sunny location, it'll generally stay powered up indefinitely, but then you have your battery backup. And the manuals that come with it, the instruction manuals, continue to improve and being more comprehensive and clear. So really I found the camera very easy to set up, the manual very easy to use, and the app for your phone real easy. We're going to run through the smartphone app, the Game Camera Pro 2 that connects to the T300 trail camera. You download and install the Game Camera Pro software. Turn on your Bluetooth and allow it. And your Bluetooth is what's going to wake up the Wi-Fi on the camera, so you always want to leave the Bluetooth enabled. See the camera ID up here? It has, you can change that to say whatever you want it to say. That's just the default name that comes up there. It's connected by Bluetooth. Now we're going to turn on the Wi-Fi. Takes a few seconds. Then you go to the Wi-Fi setting and turn on your Wi-Fi. And in a few seconds you'll see all your available networks. One of them will be the camera. TC02 or T300. You just click on that and it's already connected that quickly. I don't have any password set, let's keep it simple. Then you're connected, so you go back to the Game Camera Pro. You'll get a green arrow, and right there it just clicked right into preview mode. And so we'll look at my Buddy the Bear here. That'll be our preview mode. And here's the main screen. You can select video and then manually take a video. It'll take a video for 3 minutes and then reset and take another video for 3 minutes, and it'll continue to do that until the battery runs out or whatever. So if you ever have a situation where you have the camera set up and you want to watch it live, say you're close enough to be connected by Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, you can just continue to manually take a video. And of course, you can also take a picture, and we'll just take a picture. Now the rest of the menu here, the little circle in the lower left with the deer on it, it'll go back and show you the data that you've stored on the micro SD card on the camera. You can see there's the 3 pictures I just took of my little Buddy the Bear. And you can look at all the videos, and so there's some videos that I just took in the last few minutes, and then videos I've taken over the last week. And you can review the videos with a little thumbnail on it. And if you want to look at it, I've had a situation where I've been dealing with several feral cats that have been problematic. I've got one here that I've got a box with some catnip in it. And what I found is that feral cats can't resist boxes just like any other cats. And so this is one of the cats that I'm monitoring. This is another great use of a trail camera in your backyard to see what's going on if you have feral cats back there that you have to deal with. I've already trapped and neutered and found a home for one of them, and this fellow here has escaped from the trap twice. What I do is I set this camera up on the trap, that way I can be monitoring the trap and what's going on. You can also download that. And so that's how you review the data. And you go back to the main screen, and of course we'll go through the menu. We'll save time by going through the menu right on the smartphone instead of going through the menu in the camera. You can pretty much adjust everything on the smartphone app that you can on the camera. You got your mode, photo, video, video plus photo, image size. Now the T300 is advertised as only a 30 megapixel camera with 4K video, but the options go up to 46 megapixel, just like the T180, and I've confirmed that that does indeed work, because it holds 128 gigabytes, so I usually leave things at maximum resolution. Then you can take your sampling from 1 photo to 10 photos. I mostly take video, but if you're going to take photos, you might as well try and take 10 of them, because the shutter speed on this trail camera and most other trail cameras is only 1/30th of a second, which is fairly slow. So if you take 10 shots, you have a better chance of getting a nice clear picture with the action frozen and not much blur on it. Resolution, you have up to 4K at P30. And what I found, though, is that the 2K P30 actually has a higher bit rate. It's a little bit clearer, really, than the 4K P30. So I've been shooting at 2K with this particular camera. Record time can be up to 3 minutes. I usually set it at minute and a half. And then record the audio, of course. And the audio on this camera, the T300 and also the T180, audio is really good, and audio is really important to me. Some of the cameras have, not that great of an audio. The PIR interval is the interval between ending one video and starting the next with the movement based, and the minimum is 10 seconds, and I keep it always at the minimum so I can get the most number of videos. PR sensitivity, you can set it to low, medium, or high. In my case, I pretty much almost always have it at the high. But if you have a situation where you're going to monitor your backyard and maybe you have some tree branches that might blow in the wind, or some issues with the sun causing shadows that might trigger movement, or false movement, you might want to adjust your sensitivity down a little bit. It just depends. Loop recording is the option to, if you fill your card, it'll start overwriting the oldest videos or pictures with the newest. Now I run a 128 gigabyte card, and I usually check it every week or two at most, so I don't have a problem with having to overwrite. The LED, I use this particular camera, the T300. The LED light works pretty good on auto, and you can see I was taking a close-up video of that cat at night, and it wasn't overexposing it too bad. But if you're going to be really close and you have some issues with overexposing, you can try overriding the manual to low so that the lights aren't too powerful. But I found the auto to work pretty good. Time-lapse, if you want to set up something like a construction project or watching the changing seasons or something, or watch something change at a set fixed point over time, you can use that. It actually works pretty well. Date format and date stamp. I usually leave the date stamp on when I'm testing it. If I'm producing videos for the YouTube channel, a lot of times I'll take that off. You can change the camera name to whatever you want. This camera is model number TC02 or T300. And then Wi-Fi off time, 1 minute default is fine. SD card format, you want to format the card when you get it and format it in the trail camera itself. And use a good quality card. If you don't use a good quality card, you're going to get intermittent results, or you may not get good triggers, or you may not get good files. It may not even seem like it's detecting motion, and that's because you're using a cheap card. And really, these cameras are getting more and more sophisticated, so you just can't get by with cheap cards. I usually use SanDisk's Extreme micro SD card and SD cards. You can always return it to the default setting, and then you have your free space here, and then your AA battery power, which in this case is 100%. The solar-powered battery runs the trail camera, and the 4 AA batteries are battery backup. And so, you always want to keep 4 good batteries in there just in case. Now, if you keep this in a bright area, it's going to stay charged all the time. A lot of times I use a trail camera in the jungle underneath the forest canopy or something like that, or down in a stream in the Smoky Mountains, where I know that it's not going to get enough sunshine over a period of days to keep it fully charged with just the solar alone. So it's incumbent upon me in that case to go and check on it and either charge it or replace the batteries. And what I usually do is swap out a camera and recharge it if it's in a really dark location. But for most of your applications, the sunlight is going to be enough. Just be aware that it's solar powered, which means it needs sun to be fully charged. So depending on where you put it and how long the shadows are and how long it's in shade during the day will depend on how much charging it gets and what the performance of the solar power will be. But then you always have the 4 battery backup. So then you just go back to the main screen, and you can see we're back at our live view of my buddy the bear. Then you just exit out, and you're done.